Hey gang, Jamie Hodges with Ghostbusters Virginia here again to bring you a quick review. But first, we gotta start with a baby history lesson. Almost 33 years ago, following the major success of the film Ghostbusters, Columbia Pictures in partnership with DEEK began production on none other than the real Ghostbusters. Not to be confused with those other guys. So it's only fitting that not long after, we saw in stores across the nation those colorful boys donning shelves. 80s toy giant Kenner not only produced our favorite guys and ghouls, what came next would only be any fan at the time's dream come true. I'm talking about role-play sets. That included things like the Proton Pack, PKE Meter, Ghost Trap, Ghost Grabber. If you could sniff, zap, or grab a ghost with it, they made it. That's right, if you could slap a Ghostbusters logo on it, it existed, and we liked it. Just last year, we started seeing new Ghostbusters products come out from modern toy company Hasbro. And in light of their toy forefathers, we saw them revisit that classic Kenner line, including our favorite boys in gray, and khaki, and blue, and brown, and I think there's some pink in there. But Kenner had bigger ambitions. And so why shouldn't Hasbro? That's right, just like the line before them, that means it doesn't just stop at figures. That means we got gear. We talked about grabbing, zapping, and sniffing. We talked about this. But what about popping? That's right, Hasbro has also entered the role-play game, kicking it off first with a reproduction of the 1980s Ghostpopper. Immediately, if just looking at this thing doesn't fill you with nostalgia, you're doing something wrong. At first glance, the packaging should be almost indistinguishable from the original. A lip up. And that's the point, because if not, then you've completely missed your target. And while there are some differences, it's almost spot on. There's just something about seeing that real Ghostbusters logo against the purple background that just hits, you know? Just looking at some of those graphics, without knowing for sure, I'd almost say they'd have to have been recreated from scratch because they look just as crisp as the very first day they came off the shelf, if not cleaner. As promised on the front of the box, it does also come included with 6 proton darts, as well as 3 cardboard cutouts that perfectly replicate the designs of those included in the original. And these can be your friends, or you can use them for target practice. What's the difference? With the Ghostpopper, is there a difference? Pointing out just some of the minor differences on the box, it does now include some very welcome bilingual instructions and warnings on the box. It does now suggest that you wear protective eye gear while operating this essential piece of poltergeist popping equipment. You'll even notice their model wearing his own protective eye gear. And that's another difference. They reshot this child. Whose child is this? This isn't my boy. Honestly, growing up, I always hated this kid. Hate is a strong word. I was always jealous. I never actually had a jumpsuit like the kid in the pictures. I was running around in my pajama onesies, my little powder blues, masking tape name tag. Who's got the jumpsuit now, Timmy? Now, we can't talk about similarities without taking a look back at the original. So what did we do? We hopped in our DeLorean. We gunned it to 88. We went right up the street to one of our favorite antique stores, Oddballs Collectibles and Antiques, right here in Richmond. And because they have an incredible selection of antiques and collectibles, it made it all too easy for me to grab this boy. That's right, it's the original, the OG popper of the OG popper of any GHOST. So how does Hasbro's new one measure up? Let's find out. Yeah! Ooh! Goes poppin', finger poppin', skitter pop pop pop. I'm just goofing. New popper goofing. Hope. Now, having the two next to each other, I have to say, is a lot of fun. But in regards to detail, looking at them side by side, there is very little to distinguish the two. There are some glaring differences, most of which just being a product of age. One of the first major things you'll notice is the bottom of the Hasbro model is slathered with warning labels. I have to imagine this has a lot to do with modern regulations in regards to making projectile toys, whereas on the original you will see literally none. One of the other differences that's even hard to call major is a slight color change. Now for some reason, because some of the other toy equipment was growing up, I remember this one being gray. Turns out, even having the original in hand, it is a much darker blue, whereas with the new one, it's much more in line with something you might see on some modern Nerf guns on the shelf today. Which admittedly, something about that is a welcome change, because it matches the original Proton Pack, Trap, PKE meter, and some of the other toy equipment that much more. Now regardless of if they had the original mold laying around or not, I do know Hasbro has some pretty incredible 3D scanning technology. So one way or the other, they had the resources to easily recreate the original model. That being said, I'm even very hard pressed to find any differences in the rest of the body. They say the devil's in the details, but there's only one way we know how to deal with devils, and that's to bust. It feels good. The PKE meter reads a Class 3 Ghost. Ghost Popper loaded. It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Roast him! Oh no, another one. It's the Green Ghost. Zap him. We ain't afraid of no ghost.
Proton Pack and Ghost Popper, each sold separately. The real Ghostbusters from Kenner.
Ultimately, I can't tell you how excited I am Hasbro's decided to go down this road. Not only as someone who never had one of these growing up, but this gives us a chance to pass a little piece of that onto our kids, plus relive some of our childhood. And this is only the beginning. The original Real Ghostbusters line had so much in terms of playability, and through HasbroCon we've already caught a glimpse of some of their product designers working on sculpts for more Real Ghostbusters inspired products. The possibilities are unlimitless, so I can't wait to see what else they have in store for us. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that like button. We've already got a special review planned for later this week, so if you don't want to miss that, be sure to subscribe. Check out Ghostbusters Virginia on Facebook, Instagram. Until next time, I'm Jamie Hodges, and I'm about to pop off.